feet deep. Join the crew, take your seat. Welcome to the wrestle heat. First one, time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking trails till we die. The spark's always high.
Let me tell you something. Someone has to be responsible when things get out of control. So I will be responsible. Okay. People think they know what I'm about. They think they know what motivates me. They don't know anything. I have a dream of a land of opportunity where people come to AEW and they can achieve anything they want. They can be the best version of themselves they can be. Wrestling gave me everything I have in the world. I want that for other people. 150 wrestlers on the roster with big fat paychecks and that junk in their hands. What are they supposed to do? Where are they supposed to go? Huh? I hate what AEW has become. Egos out of control.
Makes no sense.
Celebrating when there's no need to celebrate, and dancing and partying when there's no need for dancing and partying. I cannot stand it anymore.
Vlad, what doesn't make sense? The fact that Moxley hates what AEW has become, but he is he is basically what AEW is, basically.
Yeah. Well, first I don't understand what he even wants. What's his complaint? He's saying that he wants guys to have a chance, but you just still, where are these 150 wrestlers supposed to? Well, there's way more than 150 wrestlers on AEW's roster, but that's neither here nor there. But like, what is his complaint? I'm not following. I have to be honest. I'm not following what he really wants. He wants to change something, but like he's the reason that the company is in the shape that it's in.
I think he's saying that wrestlers are just happy and content with a contract and being on the roster when really we should try to strive for a good show. But anyways, let me finish his promo.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yes. Go ahead. Go on.
I will burn down the forest to plant a new one. I'm not sentimental. I will do what has to be done. We will do what has to be done. We can see a better future, and we will make it happen. If you want to come with us, you can come with us. If you don't, run while you can. Stand down while you can. Get out of the way! What's the need to know? For those in AEW, what's the need to know? What is the new paradigm? It's very simple. You work for me now.
All right. Welcome to the Malapert Smark Wrestling Podcast. You've caught us in the middle of reviewing an angle from AEW's Dynamite on the 16th, this past Wednesday. I got Vlad and Robert with me. Vlad, the wrestling expert. Robert, the frozen Asian. We'll talk more with Vlad and Robert. But for right now, we're starting the show hot. We're just going to go through this angle, all right? We're going to get some reviews from Vlad and Robert for what they thought of this. And let's go through it, all right? So we just heard Moxley's promo on, this was after Wrestle Dream. So I guess he just won the title, and they were taken off on on the back of a pickup truck, right? For people on audio who are just listening and maybe not have seen this, but this is an audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, so I have to describe some of it. But here's John Moxley, and here's Wheeler Yuta, who's also in the back of the pickup truck, and he had just was this after Wrestle Dream, or this was after Danielson? Yes, because Wheeler Yuta turned on Danielson after Wrestle Dream, so he's got this dramatic look on his face where he's not sure of himself, but he did join his old crew with the Blackpool Combat Club, which I don't really know if we should call them the Blackpool Combat Club. As you'll see in as I go through this angle, some people are calling them that. Like they're enemies right now, like Private Party have called them that. But on Collision that I watched, Tony Schiavone was unsure. He actually talked about that. He was like, should we call them the Blackpool Combat Club, or what's going on here? So we don't really have definitive on that yet. But for right now, I've been calling them Moxley's Stable. And when we reviewed this angle on our YouTube posts, I called this angle The new paradigm in AEW, Blackpool Combat Club run roughshod. So as we've seen in the NWO era, Vlad, which we grew up watching, running roughshod is a common term because that's basically what NWO did, right? And I always thought the word was roughshod with a T, but actually it's roughshod. I looked it up today. So roughshod, the meaning of the word roughshod means brutal or without regard for the rules. If someone ignores established rules and regulations, they run roughshod over the law. You'll nearly always find this word alongside run or ride, riding roughshod or running roughshod, as when a power-hungry politician rides roughshod over anyone who stands in his way of success, as an example. So, all right. So we're going to go through what happened today. It's a very interesting storyline because it has a lot of shades of the NWO storyline in WCW, a violent group that wants to take over the show. So we're going to see how it compares, and we've been covering NWO stuff on this channel as well. So we've seen that recently in our memory bank. So let's see how this went today. Let's go through it. Anybody wants to make comments, you can stop me. Just start talking, and I'll stop and let you talk. I would like to hear any comments you guys have off the cuff, and then I'll give you guys time to speak also afterwards. So here was the match. The match was supposed to be Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly and Rocky Romero of the conglomeration, and I think they're facing off against the Elite, right? Nick and Matt Jackson and Okada. So these guys tried to have a match, and it didn't go all the way through because basically, well, here's what happened. Orange Cassidy's gearing up for the Orange Punch here on Matt Jackson, but Wheeler Yuta got it into the match and hit the Psycho knee out of nowhere, and that was the end of the match. So it's a no contest or a DQ, however you want to put it. And the old Blackpool Combat Club guys come in and basically start kicking everyone's ass in the middle of the match. So this was a match that's supposed to happen, and they don't care. They're like, fuck this match. Here's Pac choking out Kyle O'Reilly with the briefcase that's holding Moxley's world title belt. Here's the Elite. So this is interesting because they're another heel faction, and they kind of were just they're also in charge. They're also the executive vice presidents of the show, and they don't know what to do about this. But Dante and Top Flight come in, and basically some good guys from the back come in and try to help, the conglomeration. But I think they ended up getting their ass kicked too. And here's the Elite again looking on. Here's Dark Order. So Dark Order's the next team that comes in. And there's Alex Reynolds talking to the Elite saying, hey, what are you doing, man? Like, come on, you're going to let this happen in your company? These guys just ruined an important match. But also the Moxley stable, the old Blackpool Combat Club, or whatever you want to call them, they beat up Dark Order. So here's Moxley choking out Evil Uno. Here's the Elite leaving. They don't really care. They're like, whatever, these bad guys want to do something, go ahead. Here's my favorite scene from the show is Marina Shafir choking out Alex Reynolds. And I'll play some of what Moxley said again, because here he grabs the microphone, and here's what Moxley...
If you are involved in any way, shape, or form with All Elite Wrestling, you are under attack. If you didn't like what happened on Saturday night, if you don't like this, you need to understand. You need to understand this is just the cost of doing business.
All right, well, I want to go back. I want to at least show... I like this spot with the steel steps. I had never seen a spot like this where they hold someone by the ring post and then slam the steps into their belly or whatever. I thought it looked good, and Alex Reynolds took it well. So, all right, let me go through the rest of the angle real quick. So there's the conglomeration, and everybody just wiped out in the ring. And I think the last guys who came in are Private Party and Daniel Garcia. So Top Flight had come in before, and Dark Order. So at the end, Daniel Garcia and Private Party, and I think the Blackpool Combat Club scatter. Here's the Elite in the back, and some of the baby faces go to... This is Alicia, by the way. She's a new character. She's MJF's girlfriend. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Okay.
But yeah, so she caught up with the Elite, wanted to ask him about it, and then Daniel Garcia and Private Party show up. to yell at the Elite, you know, kind of basically scold them and say, hey, we've worked this hard to build this company and you're just going to let it all come crashing down and let these guys take it from you, right? Here's Daniel Garcia getting in Jack Perry's face, and testy moment, but the Elite, they don't want to get involved. So anyway, so later on in the show, they're at the announce desk talking about it, and they cut to the back because something's happening. There's a fight, and it's the same people. It's Moxley's crew, and it's Top Flight, and it's Dark Order, and they're brawling in the back. And another one of my favorite images, of Marina Shafir with the thighs of steel, choking out Darius Martin from Top Flight.
In what scenario would she be able to get him in that position? Like in a fight? I mean, unless he was willingly, which we've discussed. That's not a terrible situation to be in. I agree. But at the same time, there's no way if it was an actual fight. I mean, okay, she could be a badass. I'm not saying she can't beat up Dante Martin or whichever Martin brother that is. I forgot his name. Doesn't matter.
That's Darius.
That's yes. Darius, great. I'm not saying she can't beat him up. I'm saying she probably can. But I'm saying the move itself, where she's hanging on the thing, choking him out with her thighs, is impossible. Like, that's never going to happen in a real fight.
She obviously saw him walking by and went through that thing, whatever it is, with her legs.
And grabbed his head
with her thighs. Yes. So here's what's his name, Action Andretti, and he's gonna do a dive on the back in the back onto the big pile of people. He's trying to hit Blackpool Combat Club people, but he hit a bunch of people. Here's Marina Shafir kicking Alex Reynolds in the stomach. I don't know, any violence from Marina Shafir on a guy, to me, it's just, it pops me. It's fucking hilarious. But
she could beat up most of the guys there, that I believe.
So anyways, this was a bit of a scuffle, and I think Moxley's crew just kind of retreat to the pickup truck and run away, and John Silver from Dark Order ran after them. He might still be running after them, I don't know. But they didn't show what happened there.
Because he can chase after a car. Anyway,
he tried. So Evil Uno got to cut a promo. Dante Martin got to cut a promo, and Action Andretti, who was also hurt and beat up, he was trying to sell his injuries, and he cut a promo too. And so I think they challenged them to a fight on Collision, which has already happened as of the point we're recording right now. But for the moment, I just want to review this this angle, all of it on Dynamite. So let's see what you guys gave it as ratings. Let me pull up the Malapert Smark rating system. There it is. For anybody who has not seen it, this is how we review angles or whatever we review. We have a very basic system to review things. But let's see what Vlad thought. So Vlad gave it a thumbs down. All right. So Vlad's on. He didn't like this. And me and Robert are on a thumbs up, so we liked it. There are higher ratings than liked it. There's, loved it and blew my mind and things like that, but I left it under liked it. I have my issues with it, which I will get to, but since Vlad was the most prominent person who kind of gave it a rating that was not good, I want Vlad's thoughts. So Vlad, I'm going to give you 90 seconds on the clock. You can talk more than that if you need to, or you don't need to use it all, whatever. But the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, look, I don't like John Moxley. First of all, his promos make no sense. This whole angle makes no sense. Why he's pissed off makes no sense. What he wants makes no sense. Nothing about it. But then, okay, so he's attacking, whatever. The people that he's attacking are literally people that nobody cares about, okay? Top Flight, Dark Order.
Conglomeration. It was a match between Conglomeration and Elite. Elite bailed out. Or they would have beat up the Elite too, probably.
Conglomeration. The Conglomeration is what? Orange Cassidy, Fletcher,
Briscoe.
God, I feel ashamed now. I feel ashamed that I know that. Okay, that's terrible. But anyway,
word of the day: ashamed.
Ashamed, yeah. I'm ashamed that I saw this. No, I'm just. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of this. I don't understand it. They're working with people that nobody cares about. Like, you can't even compare this to the NWO. You can't even compare this to Aces and Eights. Like, you can compare this to anything. This is just a nonsensical thing that they've come up with that makes no sense. Like, These guys were in the company. They're acting like they were outsiders, and then they came in. All of these guys are in the company and been here since the beginning. Moxley pretty much since the beginning, almost. And all these other guys, I mean, Pac is not, I mean, he's been off and on. He's usually gone. He'll probably be gone in 3 months, again for another year. But anyways, the point is, what is the point of this? Like, what sense does it make? Okay. I mean, the only payoff it's going to be is if Shane McMahon is the one that's pulling the strings. But other than that, this thing has no legs and hardly any interest, because also the people that they're working with. And I'll leave it at that. I don't want to carry on too much.
All right, well, Robert, I'm gonna switch it to you. You gave it a thumbs up, so let's hear whatever you have to say.
I mean, I dig it. I like the sense of chaos I feel whenever, whatever this new group is called. Why not call them the New Paradigm? Why not? I'll just say the New Paradigm. Yeah, sure. I will go with it. Whenever the New Paradigm is on screen, there's this element of chaos that's involved. John Moxley's promo at the beginning feels like a worked shoot to me. I don't know if you guys agree.
I do.
Okay, so
I feel like there's some elements in there.
Yeah, I feel like he means a lot of the stuff that he says. He could probably say a bit more. I don't know. I kind of dig the fact that he's vague, at least for now. There's plenty of time for him to explain later, but I dig it so far. And then regarding the NWO comparisons, well, I to some extent it makes sense because of the whole hostile takeover thing, but the NWO is not the only group that's ever tried that. I'm trying to think of another angle that I can compare it to besides NWO, because the NWO angle was a whole different beast, and it's not something that could be replicated today or ever, honestly, because if you think about it, at that time, the mid 90s, I think, has anyone even heard of the internet at that point? I don't know. Information got around a lot slower than it does today. The things that we found out months later, today we can find out in a few seconds, right? So when the outsiders showed up to WCW, it really surprised everybody at that time, right? The audience didn't know what was going on. Back then, nobody really knew about people's contract statuses and stuff like that. So it was a legitimate shock, and people weren't sure what to make of it, right? That is not something you could replicate today. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So
sure. I agree with that.
So I don't know. I'm trying to think of another, because we were mentioning NWO. I'm trying to think of another angle that's more appropriate to compare it to. I can't think of one right now, but it still makes some sense due to the fact they're causing chaos, interrupting matches like the NWO did. Hell, they're even turning on other heels.
I mean, there's like, there was Nexus, there was the Shield when they first came in.
Okay. The Nexus, I guess, is another one. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, the reason sorry, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, even with the Nexus, they were working with top guys right off the bat.
True.
And really, the Shield was too. So pretty much right off the bat, they attacked. I think their first time was they attacked right. They attacked Ryback, or they attacked CM Punk. I forgot who they attacked when they debuted. Yeah. But it is. I mean, the point is, I mean, I know it's a different company, different world, whatever have you. But I don't know. I'm just the fact that. I mean, okay, if somebody gets over from this thing, like some new talent, okay, fine. But it's hard for me to see that. It's just hard for me to envision that this angle is going to get anyone over. But we'll see. I mean, it's early, but I guess I'm not digging it. I'll be honest. I'm not.
All right. Well, let me give some comments. My turn. Usually I feature you guys, but I got a lot to say about this one. So the reason I gave the NWO comparison directly is because Moxley says, we're quote unquote taking over. This is my company now. That's, no one's, you mentioned a lot of stables, but none of them really said, hey, we're fucking taking over the whole show. A lot of them cause chaos, like you said, but there's a point to be made about saying, he's like, you work for me now. Okay.
That's important.
Okay. So let me just say that some of the things that I like. There's some aspects of these scenes that I like. The Marina Shafir stuff I liked. And you're right, Robert. The surprise and everything, of course, we can't get that like the old days. But I think there could be a storyline of a stable that wants to take over the show and have it make a little more sense than it did today. So I'll give you some reasons why it didn't really work for me that well here. I still gave it a thumbs up, but I could have gave it 2 thumbs up. I could have liked it a lot more. So right afterwards, there was a match. I think it was Leo Rush, I think, was fighting against Shelton, and was Layla Gray came out as the valet. And literally immediately after this chaos that happened, where this match didn't come off, and there's this vicious stable that's going roughshod, and they could come back at any point. And she comes out and she's strutting out and doing her own act. Like there is no like sense of, oh my God, are people coming for me? And then later on in the night, there was another heel stable too, Don Callis' stable, who looked like a pretty solid, strong stable. But if it was NWO times, there's no heel stable that would come out and act comfortable in the middle of the ring, and commentators should be talking about it. Can something happen? Can something come out of nowhere? Are these guys going to come at any minute? We don't know. That's what would have like really made this an A storyline to me. So there's things like that, but it's hard with AEW because they don't have like a coherent show. They let everyone have their own segments, and so it's hard to let one stable really, really take over a show and run roughshod like that. So I don't really see that happening. But this is kind of the best we can get, I guess. So, and then a couple other small notes. Something you mentioned, Vlad, about that they're feuding with underneath talent at the moment. I don't really mind that at the moment because it's just the beginning. We'll see what happens. But there was that storyline about Darby Allin was not there. Supposedly he was too depressed about the way Danielson's career ended or something, and he can't bring himself to come to the show. So I marked that as a separate angle in our review on our YouTube post, and I gave that a thumbs down because if he had a legitimate reason to not be there, okay, but he should be there. I mean, come on, like he doesn't have a reason not to be there. He should be angry and he should be wanting to be in on this battle. So that's one thing. And so that's about it. I mean, I did mention the continuity with the rest of the show. There was no like fear that it could happen again or something like that. And I think that would have really helped it. So that's all I got to say about it.
Well, I think the reason that you can't really take it too serious is another reason that you kind of mentioned, but you didn't. Is like it's a common thing in AEW. Like people get attacked all the time. Like but this isn't special. Like this isn't something new. Like
that's true.
People get attacked in the back.
Good point.
So it's like, okay, yeah, sure, they're attacking them in the ring, and but many different groups have done that. Jericho's
that's an excellent point. The universe of AEW was not set up well for an angle or a program like this. Excuse me. They could have, like Cornette says, you could do a hard reset. And they could have just started the company over and just done like almost nothing for maybe a month, just do matches, make it look like a normal company, and then come with a team like this that's going to really take over. So yes, it could have been set up better. You're right. The fact that there's all kinds of chaos in AEW kind of makes people like numb to this. So
yeah, who cares? That's what people say, at least. And that's what I'm saying. So,
all right. Well, let's move along. I mean, it is Sunday night as we speak, by the way, and I have watched everything for 1 week. The last week, I literally watched everything there is to watch. I watched Rampage, I watched Collision, and there was even Battle of the Belts. So, and this angle was. Did you guys watch any of that or no?
I really just flew by all the 3 hours of those.
No, I mean this angle was prevalent though. This angle continued on there. I mean, I could give you a quick summary if you guys want to know what happened on Collision and Battle of the Belts. So you guys are ready for Wednesday when we hit this angle again. But Moxley was there on Collision. Did you know this, Robert?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was supposed to be a trios tag team title match between these Blackpool Combat Club guys and against who did they face off against? Oh, Top Flight. Okay, yeah. So Top Flight challenged them on Dynamite, and they had the match. And it was just a strong victory for the Blackpool Combat Club. They won, and then they were gonna kick Top Flight's ass again afterwards, so they just went off on a post-match beatdown. Here's Pac looking happy doing it. Moxley comes in, and they beat him down as the show ends, and this went into Battle of the Belts. So literally the show ended like this, and then when Battle of the Belts started up, the next show, it continued on. So here's Moxley beating up one of the guys from Top Flight, and I think John Silver came out. Again, continuation of Dark Order and Conglomeration against BCC. So John Silver whacks Claudio with a chair, and they start kicking Dark Order's ass. And then what Moxley did was very interesting. He grabbed the microphone, and he basically said, we're going to have another trios title defense right now against Dark Order. They're that badass. So they rang the bell. So Moxley, I guess he is in charge, right? He's like, he made this match, and then a trios title match started up right there. And against Dark Order. Same guys. So they beat them too. So here's the end of that. I think Alex Reynolds had to tap out to like a double submission. I don't know why that was legal, but I wasn't really paying attention to that. But okay.
No, nobody was either. Don't worry.
After the match, here's John Moxley. I think he's torturing Evil Uno, slaps him or Evil Uno tries to slap him in the face, but they're gonna smash John Silver's hand, I think, or Marina Shafir smashes John Silver's hand with a briefcase.
No, I think who actually is getting tortured is anyone that watched this. That's who got tortured. I think
that was me.
That was you. That was you.
I took notes on it. Well, anyways, last thing. Private Party and Daniel Garcia finally come out after all this, after 2 matches, and they were talking very prevalently about it on Collision. And, this makes me think that if this was a coherent storyline, that these guys might be in on it with Moxley's crew, because they're always coming in like when it's too late, But they do fight with them, so I just think that's kind of poor writing. And then another thing that happened is Orange Cassidy had this dramatic moment in the back where he was kind of doubting whether he wanted to be part of this battle. He's like, I'm not a leader. And then he ends up walking away here.
Well, that's a fact.
Very dramatic.
You got that right. This is not a guy, for sure that's not a guy that you want to lead. That's 100%.
Well, anyways, all right. So we're like half an hour into the show. All right, we've done only AEW. But it's okay. We did it very in depth. That was a very in depth analysis. I like it.
It sure was.
Good job. All right, look.
More than it deserved.
Before we move on to the next thing, which I guess is Bronson Reed from Raw, but let me introduce our guys because I didn't do it to start the show. So, Vlad, thank you for being on.
Yes,
sorry,
it's good to be here.
Sorry you didn't like the AEW. I mean, I'm sure they had high hopes for this.
Podcast on a Sunday in Los Angeles, California.
That's right.
What are you doing? Are you doing LA Night or something? What's going on?
No. I'm actually trying to do kind of CM Punk. It's good to be alive and whatever the hell he usually says, wherever city they're in. But anyways, continue on.
All right. Well, Vlad, thank you for being on. I was saying that I'm sorry you didn't enjoy the AEW. I'm sure they had hopes that you would enjoy it and that this was a good storyline, but it is getting lambasted. Not as much as the MJF and Adam Cole stuff, which we'll talk about in a bit.
That was worse.
But okay. Thank you for being on, Vlad. You're the best. You're the most knowledgeable in wrestling. So we got to take your word for it, honestly. I mean, we're just here. If we liked it, okay, but you're the foremost authority.
No. Everybody's opinion is the same here. We all have it's all equal weight. My opinion definitely is not more important than either of yours, guys. So I want that on record.
All right, well, let me also introduce Robert. The Frozen Asian is back this week. He was off last week.
What's up?
I'm sure you didn't come on last week because maybe you didn't watch all the wrestling and maybe you didn't have a chance to see it all.
No, I watched. I watched Raw. I watched NXT, SmackDown, and even Wrestle Dream. I watched it all, but I was just too busy because we had a new employee starting this past week, so I had to get training materials prepared. So I just didn't have time to join.
All right then. Well, thank you for being back, man. We like you being here. It's always a treat. It's always a treat and never a chore. So, all right, but we got to move on though because we got a few angles to talk about. I don't know if we'll get to all of them, but we'll get to as many as we can until we get tired of it. So, let's jump to Monday Night Raw on October 14th. This was this past Monday. We're recording on a Sunday as we speak. I know this was a while ago, but we haven't met up since then. And I do want to mention at least something from Raw. So I really like this. Robert, did you watch this show? I mean, you skipped it because you said you were busy, right? So, yeah, this was also a taped show. So I think the week before they taped 2 shows. So this was like, it was kind of, yeah, some people were saying it was kind of weak in that regard. But this segment I really liked with Bronson Reed meeting with Adam Pearce. You know what? I'll play a little bit of it since you didn't see it. Just like a minute of it, not the whole thing, but.
This might surprise you, but I appreciate your time. And the reason I called for this meeting
Hold on. I have a bookmark of where I wanted to start with us. So Bronson Reed, who has been causing chaos and destruction in the name of, making a name for himself. And Adam Pearce wants a little bit of control here. So he's sitting him down. And I don't know where they are, but it seems like a fancy place. I don't know. Maybe he went to his house or something. But so here they are. Here's some of what Adam Pearce
Monster
said.
Standing, you sling my referees around, you go through the wall. You put the WWE Universe at risk, and I can't have it. We can't have it.
Look. I'm sorry if my actions crossed the line. But in a match like that, no one can stop me. If it wasn't for Seth Rollins, I'd be the last monster standing. So, when are you going to make the match?
So we're just cutting right to the chase.
Yep.
Look, I'm not even thinking about that until you and I are on the same page.
Okay. Look, everything I've done, all the destruction I've caused, every single tsunami I hit on Seth Rollins and everyone else was all to get me to the main event. Isn't that the sort of ambition you want from your superstars?
Of course.
So, make the match. There'll be no trouble. Because I just want the spotlight. I want the one-on-one match with Seth. So I can show you that I am a top guy in WWE.
So it's that simple.
All right. So I don't want to play the whole thing, Robert, but I just love how Bronson Reed talks.
Yep.
Sounds so cool. Sounds so good.
I like the shirt he's wearing too. I'm not sure what that is, but it's cool.
Yeah, nice, cool design. Not sure if that's supposed to be him or what that's supposed to be. But yeah, cool.
So a part of this angle on the same night, Adam Pearce also talked to Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins also wants the match. And Adam Pearce is a little hesitant to give it to him because last time these guys met up in the ring, Bronson Reed almost killed Seth Rollins. But Seth Rollins says he wants this to push him, to make him great. He needs this type of match. And he cut a very serious promo talking about this with Adam Pearce. So it wasn't the same crazy Joker laugh Seth Rollins. So it was a good segment to me. What did I give this? I gave this on our rating system. Let's pull that up for the new watchers and the new listeners here. I gave this 2 thumbs up. I freaking really love this. I thought this was fantastic. Fantastic acting. And, it was just straight to the point. It was only 4 minutes and 8 seconds, the whole thing. So I thought it was really good. Vlad gave it a thumbs up, and Robert, as we said, didn't watch the show, so I have no rating from him.
So
but I guess
I watched the YouTube clip. You recommended it to me, so I watched at least this clip.
Did you? I thought.
Oh
you
no,
watched,
sorry. I thought Jay.
Yeah, you saw the Jey Uso stuff. So this one you didn't see. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I'll get some comments from Vlad here. Let me get 90 seconds up on the clock. Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. You got 90 seconds. You could use less or more, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I need the full 90 on this one. It was specifically the Bronson Reed promo or interview kind of with Adam Pearce, where they kind of had some back and forth. It was really good. Laura agrees. She's there to confirm that Bronson Reed was one of the highlights. As you said, he's actually quite well spoken, and I know this was taped. I know it wasn't live, as you said, but I'm distracted by Laura now. Great, I can't even her face. What was that? Where am I? She's hypnotizing. But look, long story short, I don't want to really because Laura's too hypnotizing.
Sorry for you podcast listeners. My dog is on. She's bugging me, so I had to hold her. But okay, yes, Bronson Reed. Well spoken.
Was very good. They're well spoken,
Yes.
and I think he could be. You know, we've talked in the past. Could he be in the main event? I think he can. I know maybe he's making a believer out of me. I mean, I don't know where it's all going. I know he's gonna have the match with Seth Rollins, but that's a big match for him. I mean, Seth Rollins is considered one of the top guys in the business in WWE. So it's a big spot for him. We'll see where that takes him.
All right. Well, I also really I'm digging the build up to this match. I think they've done a really wonderfully solid job. But let me move on. So the next angle we got, I'm also going to stick with Raw from the 14th. Let's speed it up. I do want to play some of this. So this was Bron Breakker. He finally explained himself because 1 week before he gave Jey Uso a show of respect after Uso beat him. And then 1 week later, he inexplicably attacked him. So here was his explanation.
Everybody wants to know why. Why did I turn my back on Jey Uso? See, it's really not all that complicated. See, Jey, you lucked into the biggest lottery of your entire life a few weeks ago when you beat me for the Intercontinental Championship. So what do? Out of respect, I march down to the ring. I shake your hand and tell you congratulations out of respect. And what do? You throw it back in my face as if I'm not gonna see it. Not once.
As he was walking away, look at that smug look on Jey Uso's face. Right when Bron Breakker was walking out, and he saw this on TV later, he must have, when he watched the replay.
Did you say that you respected me? Not once.
He said, not once did you say that you respected me. So he wanted Jey Uso to at least say, hey, I respect you, but he didn't say it.
One time did you say that you respected me as a champion, and maybe one day you would be the caliber champion that I am, which we all know you won't. See, we're not the same, Jey. We're not a couple second, third generation superstars carrying on our family's legacy.
All right, whatever. I'm going to stop it there. He already gave his explanation. He's going to start talking about their family history or whatever. But later in the night, so that was the image, or this one. As he's walking away, I guess Jey Uso had a smug, respectless look on his face. I don't know. Let me finish this off before we get some comments from everybody.
That's just Jay's face, man. I don't know.
the explanation. Yeah. But okay, so I think Bron Breakker had a match with Kofi Kingston on this night later on, and he beat him, and then he was going to beat him up afterwards just because he's an unpredictable badass, I guess, or whatever, as a heel. Post-match afterbirth for no reason. And Xavier Woods comes out to help Kofi, who they've been having issues, but I guess that's a different story. But he had a moment, and Bron Breakker comes back in and attacks Xavier, and I think that's when Jey Uso comes in he was going to spear Xavier, and Jey Uso's music hit, and basically I think Jey Uso just fucking kicks his ass, like really bad. Super kicks him, and then spears him, and then even talks shit to his face in a very humiliating way. Here's the spear, and I think here's a super kick off the ring apron, and Bron Breakker's just fucking left to like a piece of shit on the outside, while Jey Uso struts in the ring. So, okay, this segment with Bron Breakker and Jey Uso, Vlad gave it a half thumbs up, I guess. So on our system, you kind of like this. Sorry. Let me pull up the rating system. Vlad kind of like this, I guess. I gave it a thumbs down because I just didn't like how they're jerking Bron Breakker around, having him lose again and again. He's saying, "Oh, you got lucky." He's like, "You won the lottery again." Like, how many times can you say that you got lucky, you beat me? He lost a bunch of times by now. So I think that's kind of hurting his character. And the fact that the week before they teased us with him maybe going for the World Heavyweight title, but going back to this, and I didn't really like the explanation. I don't know. Maybe they changed their mind midway. But Vlad, you want to give any thoughts on your half thumbs up for this?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the only reason I gave it a half a thumb, Orange Cassidy thumbs up, I guess, is because of that video package with Braun Breaker. I thought it was really good video package. He was really fiery promo. But I agree with you. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. It didn't completely make sense why he shook his hand and then they went back on it the following week. And then why he keeps getting his ass kicked by Jey Uso. It's kind of not. I mean, look, I know they're going to have a rematch. I think it's even. Is it this coming Raw that they're having the rematch? I forget. Or are they saving that for PLE?
Honestly, I can't say. I watched the show pretty closely and deeply, but I didn't notice that they said there's going to be a match this coming Monday. But
but there will be a rematch. That much they already. I think they did confirm that. I just can't remember now the date. But it doesn't matter. The point is that I think for sure Braun has to win that match. Like, I mean, just to save face and help his character out a bit here, because they kind of. His whole going to the main roster has had moments where it's been really good, and then it's had moments where it's been like, what? Why did that happen? Type of deal. And losing to Jey Uso, we said right away, was one of those like, wait a second, hold on here, what's going on? So let's just see where it all goes. But it's been a little rocky.
So you liked his promo. The promo package they made, but then he cut this fiery ass fucking promo, and then he got his ass kicked.
Right.
So okay.
Right.
All right. Well, listen. As we're gonna see later, a little tease for later in the show, Jey Uso is gonna get involved in Smackdown, and with the Bloodline. So maybe that could have something to do with him losing the title to Jey Uso without it having to be clean. So we'll get to that a little later, though. For right now, let me move along. We got to move along to the next angle. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Robert, I know you didn't review. You didn't actually watch the show live. I don't have a review for you, but I forgot to ask. If you do have any comments, you're welcome to share them on whatever you think about Braun Breaker and Jey Uso on this night. Okay. So sorry about that. I moved on because I didn't have a rating for you, but I do want to get comments from you.
I don't think. From just what I watched here, I don't think I would have given it a good rate. I don't know. All I gotta say is Bron's got to get over, man.
Yeah.
Bron's
got to get over. He's got to win whatever match they have next, for sure.
All right. Well, let me move on. So this is later on in the show. This is later on this same Monday Night Raw. What are we on? October 14th, I said? Yes, October 14th.
That sounds right.
So Jey Uso is walking backstage. He had just kicked Braun Breaker's ass and feeling pretty confident about himself. Strutting. And he goes into his locker room, and Jimmy Uso's there, his twin brother, who he's had a WrestleMania feud with and everything, and the Bloodline broke up, and so he hasn't seen him in a while. He moved on to Raw, and Jimmy's been out injured for a while. But he finally showed up, and Jay didn't want to see him. So this first segment, they were together. He just walked off. And there's a sad look on Jimmy Uso's face as I'm trying to describe this for audio people. Later on in the show, another backstage segment, Jimmy's walking around. He's just opening doors. So he's looking for Jay. And finally, he opens one, and Jay comes out. So he found him. And I think... What did Jay tell him? Jay said, "Get out of my face, man." Right? He doesn't want to hear basically his whatever Jimmy's plea for help is. He was disgusted. It's like, get out of my face, man. So, anyways, what do I got for ratings on this segment? Robert, you did watch this because I texted you this. And I was like, just at least watch this because the whole thing on these two guys was just a minute and 20 seconds. A minute and 27 seconds. Sorry, but so it wasn't that much of the show, but it was important. I mean, if they made a Bloodline in complete story DVD like they used to back in the old days, this would be on it, this little 1 minute segment. So we all gave this a thumbs up. So let me pull up the Malapert Smark rating system. We all like this, okay? I'll start with Robert. Any thoughts before we move on to SmackDown, just on what you saw here on Raw and what you were thinking when you saw it?
It was cool. I'll keep it brief. I only need a few seconds. It was cool. It's what I expected, right? I did expect. I don't know. I didn't think it would happen this soon, or even Jimmy showing up on Raw this soon. But I knew they would reach out at some point, and there would be some resistance, at least initially, from Jay's side. This is basically how I thought it would play out. So, but yeah, it's still good.
All right, let me move on to Vlad then. Vlad, any thoughts on this little short segment on Raw? And I'm going to move on to the SmackDown stuff literally right after this.
Yeah, I mean, I also keep it short. It was a good segment in the sense of introducing, trying to get Jay back into the fold. Obviously, given the history, it shouldn't happen overnight. It shouldn't happen on one show. Given everything that happened between Jay and Jimmy and
Good point.
Jay
Excellent
and Roman. So this is the start of something. But I mean, I think we all think that eventually he will join them. So I mean, it's just got to be.
Does anyone have like a information on when Survivor Series is? Excuse me, like
when is it?
Yeah, is that the next?
I
It's
think
in
it's
November.
So we've got about a month to get this all together. Is that the next pay-per-view? Is that? Oh no, Crown Jewel is that.
Crown Jewel's first. Crown Jewel's first.
Okay,
yeah.
so they got plenty of time. They can take it slow. And yes, this was pretty slow. Nothing really much. But yeah, at least they got their feet wet and they introduced it to us. All right,
Exactly.
So let me move on to what do I got next? I think I'm going to SmackDown if I'm not mistaken. Yes, SmackDown on the 18th on Friday. So here's Solo's Bloodline as they enter the ring, and this is the opening segment of SmackDown. Sorry, hold on. This clock is distracting me. I gotta stop it. All right, so SmackDown, October 18th. Sorry about that. Let's see what I got bookmarked to describe what happened to these people. Major storyline. So Solo comes out. I don't even know what Solo said, honestly. He's lost all his luster to me after he's lost clean so many times. So I don't know. He's gloating or something about being the tribal chief and everything. And I think Jey Uso's music hits. That's the surprised look on his face right there, because I don't know if anybody was expecting that. But yeah, so Jey Uso comes in through the crowd, main event Jey Uso, and he makes his way to the ring and talks to Solo, his little brother. And Solo told him, "Don't call me little brother, right? I'm your tribal chief." But what was basically the basic thing Jay was saying was that, you've split up the family, right? You've divided the family, and that's not good. And Solo disagreed with him. He's like, "You're wasting my time." He's like, "I'm trying to unite the family, under me, because I'm doing good, basically." And Jay responded with like, "All right, if you want to unite the family, that's fine, but why did you bring them in?" And pointing at all three guys behind him, the Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, and Jacob Fatu. And Jacob Fatu's, staring a hole into him, and basically Jay's like, "Hey, if you keep giving me that look, I'm gonna whoop your ass," or something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Right. Yeah, right. Jacob Fatu would kick his ass. It would be bad. It would be bad. I mean, if we're talking about in the legit fight, let's continue. Then continue.
Yeah, that was a cool little moment though. But
yeah,
what do I got? I think, and then Jay leaves, and Solo holds Jacob back. He's like, "Don't do nothing. It's all good." And Jay walks off. And I think he goes to the back. Later on, Jimmy and Roman show up to SmackDown in a car in the back. And they bump into Jey Uso. Jey Uso kind of smiles at Jimmy, but when he sees Roman, he just wants to leave. And Roman holds him by the arm. He's like, "Wait." And he talks to him for a second. He says, I remember him telling him, "I'm proud of you for winning the Intercontinental title," right? Gives him gives him a look in the eye, looks him straight in the eye, kind of seems apologetic in a way without saying it. And I think Jay's response was, he goes, "Not yeet." Right? That's what he said. That's all he said. He goes, "Not yeet," and he walks off. And Roman's like, "I knew it." He told Jimmy, he's like, "Yeah, he's not going to forgive me." I mean, based on what they've done to each other, yeah, it makes sense. Roman's like, "Man, we shouldn't even be wasting our time with this because he's just not going to come around." And Jimmy's like, "No, we should still try." So here's Jimmy and Roman talking in the back. And Roman's like, "No, I'm going to try it my way." And basically he goes, "I'm going to go out there and acknowledge Solo." So everyone's like, "What? You're going to acknowledge Solo?" So he goes out there, he does his whole acknowledge me thing, and he listens to the crowd, takes it in, right? First time he's done that in a while. Acknowledge you for what? But okay, Solo comes out by himself with the Ulafala. He is the tribal chief right now. and they're gonna have like a serious discussion in the ring, one-on-one. And Roman tells him, he's like, "Hey, genuinely, I don't think this is better. Like, I don't see how you've improved the situation for us." And then he had a little emotional moment where he looked like he was kind of tearing up and said, "I told my father, who just passed away recently, that I could fix this." He tells Solo, "What can I do to fix this? What can I do to fix our family?" And Solo laughs and he goes, "Well, you have to acknowledge me." And Roman's like, "All right, fine, I acknowledge you." And Solo's like, "No, man, that's not good enough. You need to acknowledge me as your tribal chief, or else," right? And Roman goes, "Or else what?" Screams at him. And Solo laughs, and he goes, "You see, I knew you were never going to change, and because of that, I'm never going to change either." And he snaps his fingers, and his boys come out, and they're carrying Jimmy Uso, and they've beat his ass, and I don't know how they beat his ass, but they didn't show that. That was off camera. But that ensues a fight. Then ensues a fight between Roman Reigns and the rest of the Bloodline. Roman puts up a good fight, kind of lands a Superman punch on Solo, even gets his hands on the Ulafala necklace, puts it on before Solo Sikoa nails him with a low blow, and then I think they're just going to proceed to whoop his ass to end the show and leave him laying with the Samoan spike again on Roman, and that's the end. So, Jacob Fatu puts the Ulafala necklace back on Solo Sikoa. That's a nice picture of Jacob right there. I like that one. But all right, so that's how that show ended. All right, let's get some ratings from you guys. Pull up the Malapert Smart rating system. All right, once again, 3 thumbs up. 3 normal thumbs up from us, not 2 thumbs up. We liked it, but okay. Let's get some thoughts. Who should I go to first? I'll go to Vlad first this time. So Vlad, any thoughts you want to give on Smackdown? I guess a lot of stuff happened here. Jey Uso showed up. Roman tried to make up with Jey a little bit, and then another fight with Roman and the Bloodline afterwards. So the floor is all yours, man.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I did like this a lot. But I guess what I didn't understand really, what was Jey, what was his point of showing up? Like, what did he really want to accomplish? Like, he said he didn't want to be involved in this Bloodline war.
Can't help it, man. It's his family.
All right, well, I mean, he ignored Jimmy Raw, but they're like the first time he has an opportunity, he interrupts.
Well, he's had a
Solo.
few nights to sleep on it, so maybe he's thought about it. I don't know.
Sure. But overall, I mean, the angle is really good. It's a nice logical angle. It's all for the most part making sense. Oh, look, I know I just said what I said about Jey, but overall, I'm enjoying it, and I'm curious actually to see when they're gonna bring back the Wise Man. When is Paul Heyman coming back? Because I kind of miss that guy, believe it or not. What do they need somebody else? Do they need? I mean, I'm gonna throw out Sami Zayn because that's who they had, but I don't know. I mean, for it to be a 4-on-4 match, I don't know. But anyways, I guess what I'm saying is I'm enjoying this. I'm digging it. Do you feel, Kaon, that Solo's getting at least some of his credibility back, leaving Roman laying the last couple of weeks? I think the last 2 weeks they've left him laying.
Well, as a stable, they've been doing all right. I mean, Solo, when he lost that steel cage match to Cody, he was all by himself. I mean, we did think like it was a steel cage match with no rules. Why he didn't? I mean, they really messed up bad at that point. So that one hurt him a lot. That hurt him a lot. That hurt his credibility a lot. Did he get it back? Honestly, no. I don't really think so. I think if they get Jey Uso and Sami Zayn on their side, they're gonna whoop these guys' ass because the only guy that's legit on their stable is Jacob Fatu, and everyone else is just whatever. But anyways, I'm gonna get comments from Robert also here. Thumbs up from Robert. Any thoughts you want to give about the Bloodline from SmackDown here?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I feel like whenever the Bloodline saga ends, I'll probably consider this one of the best long-term storylines in wrestling ever. That's okay. My opinion. But,
No?
all right, but for tonight's angle, let me start off with the Jey Uso part from the beginning. So, not a big fan of Jey Uso, but I actually liked him in that segment when he was talking to Solo. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, I just like what with Vlad said earlier. I don't know what the point was of him even showing up, but I still like his interaction with Solo. Maybe when he's with his family, he's better. I don't know. When he tries to do other stuff, it's just like, oh, kind of cringe. But anyways, I I don't know what Roman's plan was. Clearly, it failed. um, and I don't know. It until he picked up the Ula Fala, it looked like he was doing just fine on his own, taking on the whole new bloodline. So like the stable kind of still looks weak. Well, Jacob Fatu still looks strong, but as a overall stable, they're not that intimidating. Personally, if Roman could, fend them off on his own for like at least a good minute or so. But still, I enjoyed this angle for this episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, I do wonder how this is gonna end with everybody. Roman's probably gonna become tribal chief again, but is he gonna get everybody on his team? Is he gonna get Jacob and the Tamatanga and Tagaloa too, or whatever? I don't know. I'm curious how it all pans out, but okay, that'll be for another day.
They could be building up to an eventual Rock versus Roman.
Oh yes, that's true.
Maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
This is true. I keep forgetting about The Rock. Forgetting about The Rock. But
how
okay.
can you forget about The Rock?
All right, hold on. Let's move on though. I gotta move on to another thing from SmackDown. Just a quick little thing. This was a short segment. This was Kevin Owens. So Kevin Owens, I think, who had been silenced the week before. They didn't let him use the microphone and explain himself for why he turned on Cody and all that. But he cut a promo in his car. It looked like he was making a YouTube, wrestling review or something. but okay. So I don't know what he said exactly, other than that he felt disrespected by WWE, even though he'd been there for a long time, and he doesn't know if he's coming back. Basically,
that's basically what he said.
Okay. And then Randy Orton later on is in Nick Aldis's office, and he wants to fight Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens turned on him last week too, attacked him, left him laying. And Nick Aldis basically said, like, I can't give you the match because upper management said so. So this is not me. It's upper management. Randy Orton smiles. Upper management basically means Triple H, which is funny because Randy Orton has had dealings with Triple H. So I'm going to change the clock to 1 minute for this one. So we got to wrap up the show. We're going to give you guys a little less time to talk. But what was our ratings for this one? Let's see. I think we all gave this a thumbs up again. So we've been liking a lot of stuff on these shows. So let's start with Robert. Robert, do you have any thoughts on, I guess, Kevin Owens? What's going on with that?
Well, look, Kevin Owens' part where he's talking from his car is a little weird. He's banned from the building because he attacked Cody. What was it? Because he attacked him off air? Because was that the reason why? Because wrestlers attack each other all the time backstage.
Racers break into each other. LA Knight broke into AJ Styles' house.
Yeah, so I don't know. That part didn't really make sense, but I don't know. It's I still dug it, at least the part with Randy Orton going over to Nick Aldis trying to set up a match, and he's clearly referring to Triple H. So there's going to be some interaction between him and Triple H. I'm assuming either this coming Raw or maybe next SmackDown. We'll see.
Do you think they're using the real life thing, like you said, breaking, kind of blurring the lines between kayfabe and how Kevin Owens' contract is running out, and kind of saying, hey, I'm about to leave anyways, maybe I'll just fucking leave?
I totally forgot about that. That never, came to mind when I was watching Kevin Owens promo and
I think that might have a little bit to do with, like, maybe they're not really like kicking him out or suspending him. It's just like, you know what, you're gonna leave anyway, so we're just gonna shut you down.
But that was never mentioned though, right?
No,
On
no,
the
you
show?
see,
Okay.
these are things you would know behind the scenes if you follow wrestling. You know what I mean? But anyways, let me give a minute to Vlad also. So you gave this a thumbs up. Any thoughts you want to give?
I mean, I think it's interesting. I'm with Robert on the logic is a little confusing. Like, so he's barred from the building. They're silencing him, but he's like the heel here. That's kind of like something you would do against a babyface, like a heel regime would do against a babyface. But doesn't really completely make sense, and unless K-On might be onto something that they're trying to blur some lines here, and then I don't know, they're gonna bring him back or they're not gonna bring him back. I mean, I think they will bring him back in the sense of he is gonna have this match with Randy Orton at the very least, you know, and things like that. But I found it interesting, but again, not sure if it completely makes logical sense. But I think Kevin Owens kind of likes to play this character, like the guy that's always, you know, silenced and then like he has to sneak into the building type role. Like I think he excels in that type of that type of character. So maybe this was his pitch and his idea. So I don't know.
Well, some people are saying he's just gonna job out to whatever, Cody or Orton, and then just leave for AEW.
Somebody said that.
For the people who've known him personally, like Cornette, we listen to his podcast, right? So
Yeah.
he said, I know this guy, and he would love to be in that indie-rific type of show where he gets to do whatever the hell he wants, and no one's going to tell him no. And he's going to get paid more.
And he's friends with the Young Bucks from everything I've heard. So I could see it. I could see him going there. But I think he will be paid a shitload.
Yeah, if you're going to get paid more, like 3 times more than you're getting from WWE, why the hell not, right?
And you don't have to work as much. So, yes. I mean, I don't know about 3 times as much, but I don't know. But yeah.
I could see that happening. I could see
Tony Khan is going to offer whatever he needs to offer to make
he
sure
has
Kevin Owens
to.
gets it.
That's what he did with Mercedes Moné. You have to give him so much more to take him away from WWE. Like if he's going to get $4 million a year from WWE, I would suspect he's going to get like $13 million a year from AEW just to bring him over because he is a name. He's a former world champion and a star on WWE's show.
Yes.
So all right.
Yes.
Let me move along real quick. Couple more angles, whatever I could fit in before you guys really get sick of this. Oh, man, we're jumping back to AEW. It's Adam Cole. It's fucking MJF.
It's Adam Cole, baby.
Hey, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's here with the boom, baby. The boom.
Yeah, the boom, all right. No, this was a boom.
Well, yeah, you know it's all about the boom, right? But
yeah, it was
anyways, so, goddamn, how the fuck do I even explain this one? It's an Adam Cole in-ring promo to start Dynamite this past Wednesday. I'm back on October 16th, by the way. I know I'm jumping around, but that's what we do here. So Adam Cole comes out and he cuts a promo on MJF. Basically runs down his character, his personality. These two who have been friends on the show, and then Adam Cole turned on him, and he said he did it just to, you know, fuck with him, I guess. I don't know. And then Adam Cole got hurt and he had to go away. Before that, MJF kicked his ass and got revenge, though, already. So now Adam Cole is back, and he went after MJF last week, right? And MJF went running after MJF was attacking Daniel Garcia at Wrestle Dream. So that's the backstory of this. So, fuck, man. It was a long time. I think this is at least 4 or 5 minutes of Adam Cole just talking shit about MJF, saying, you know, you don't know him like I do. I was hanging out with him all this fucking
Everybody
time.
says the same shit about this guy. Ugh, it's so ridiculous. He doesn't care about AEW.
Yeah, he doesn't care about AEW, yes.
Every single time they say the same shit about him.
Well,
that's why he tattooed AEW on his ankle, because he hates the place.
Well, yes, so, man, I saw a lot of I've been seeing a lot of analysis on this angle here today. This specific promo about the criticism is that when Adam Cole left, he was a heel. When he got injured, he was the devil, right? There was a long storyline about that, and MJF was the face. And now basically MJF has turned heel. So now Adam Cole is back, and since he has to feud with MJF, he's a face for no real apparent reason. Although I don't really mind that as much as other people do, because if he's just going to be consumed by hating MJF, fine, just be on the other side of MJF. My problems with this don't really lie in the logic there. My problems with this are more just on, like, the promo itself was it was a difficult sell to say, hey, this guy is a bad person. You shouldn't like him either. Because a lot of people actually like him. You know what I mean? Even though he's a heel on the show.
Pretty much the most popular wrestler in that whole company.
Yeah, so this promo is not really doing it for this angle is what I'm saying. So MJF comes on, his music comes up, but he's not actually there. He's on remote, so he's at his house or something like that. I don't know. And he's drinking a glass of wine, and he says a bunch of things about how, you know, he doesn't trust anymore because Adam Cole ruined his ability to trust people when he turned on him. And I think he concluded it by saying, I will never give you the satisfaction of fighting you, of letting you beat my ass. And Adam Cole retorted with, when I get my hands on you, I'm going to give you the ass beating of a lifetime. And that was it. So, all right, some interesting ratings from us. Let's pull up the rating system. All right. I gave this a straight up thumbs down. Okay, Vlad's at an indifferent, so he gave it not a thumbs down, not a thumbs up, nothing. So he doesn't feel anything from this. And Robert actually gave it half a thumbs up. So Robert kind of liked it. Out of the three of us, is the only one who sort of liked it. So, you know what? Let me start with Robert, since you kind of liked it. I'm gonna give you a minute to say whatever you want to say about this.
Yeah, I agree with what you said earlier about how this doesn't make sense because the last time Adam Cole was around, he was the heel, right? So yeah, that I get you there. But I gave it a half thumbs up mostly because I really enjoyed MJF's part. His promo I thought was really good.
That's cool.
So I liked MJF's response, even though it was.
Right. And then you're gonna roll with this. You're just gonna be fine
good.
with them continuing.
Like you said, the whole thing about a void, creating a void that he can never get back.
All right, so Robert's gonna roll with it. It seems he's just not gonna think about all the.
Hold on. Speaking of
I know.
void, now I can't hear you guys.
Robert can't hear us. All right, Robert, you reset,
let me come back.
reset your thing, and me and Vlad will talk about this for a minute while you're gone.
All right. Can you guys hear me? All right.
Yep.
Yes, Robert.
I talk about a void, and then I can't hear you.
I was trying to talk over you and get a comment in, but you couldn't hear me. I guess your audio didn't work. But yeah, I was trying to say, okay, so it looks like Robert's just gonna roll with it now, and just look past whatever deficiencies there are in the logic, and from here you're just gonna go with it, right? And enjoy an MJF Adam Cole feud.
I like MJF's promo. That's what I enjoyed out of this segment.
All right, so Vlad, indifferent from you, nothing. So
Nothing.
that would mean you have no comments.
I feel nothing.
You feel a void.
So no comments from Vlad. I'm sure you could come up with something to say about this. Whatever. You didn't like it, so what do you think?
No, I didn't. I mean, I think the reasons that you said, it's blah. It's just whatever. They've constantly gone to when somebody's in a feud with MJF and he's like a heel, or even when he's a face, I guess. This guy doesn't know the whole thing that he doesn't care about the company. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He's kind of an asshole to the rest of the roster. Whatever, bro. Nobody cares about the backstage stuff. And what really, I mean, that's too inside. For us, for the fans that are trying to watch and enjoy the show. But really, Adam Cole didn't really have a lot of material here. His promo was pretty boring. And I think what also ruined it was that MJF was like a tape promo. So like couldn't even have any back and forth. He just said what he said, and then Adam Cole tried to make it seem like it was live. So he's like, well, if you could hear me, I'm like, dude, whatever. Everybody knows that shit is tape. It was just not good.
Yeah, it was a really tough promo for Adam Cole to send Adam Cole out there to try to cut. He did his best. He delivered the lines, but that was a tough one, man. Because I don't know if he even felt that this was gonna work. But all right, couple more things. We're almost done with the show, but I want to mention this one's for me. I just want to mention a botch. I'm not really going to cover the angle or get a review on the angle of Jay White versus Christian with Hangman Page interfering, but I want to mention how it was so poorly ended. I don't know if you guys saw this. Robert, you gave this a half thumbs up, but I'm going to show you these botches that might have really fucked your rating up. So the match was Jay White versus Christian, which was a very poorly promoted match for like a decently marquee matchup, which actually had a backstory too. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I think Christian cost Jay White in like the Owen Hart Cup tournament, and Jay White he cut a promo that he was going to get revenge on Hangman Page, remember, and then someone else that supposedly we all know who that is, which nobody fucking remembered. The Owen Hart Cup thing, like Excalibur mentioned it during the match, but that was a difficult one, man. I even take notes on these shows, and I didn't remember that there was a thing between Christian and Jay White. So anyway, so these guys had a match, a main event match, and okay, so this was not the finish, okay? The people who were supposed to interfere in this match, which are Kip Sabian and Hangman Page, they were supposed to come in when Christian was going to do a spear. So Christian was going to set up for a spear, but this was the first spear, not the second one. So they jumped the gun. So Christian sees Kip Sabian out of the corner of his eye, and Kip Sabian comes on the apron, and he's like, no, not yet, not yet. You see, he's yelling at, even though Kip Sabian is not his friend in the show, but he's like kind of giving him advice. He's like, no, get out of here, not yet. So he goes for the spear, okay, misses the spear. And then I think Hangman Page thought that this was where he was supposed to come in too. So Hangman Page comes from the side. This is totally not the spot. So there goes Kip Sabian to go sit back in the seat he was sitting in. And the camera's capturing it. It's awful. And I'm sorry. So here's where Hangman Page comes in. And then he's going to go back. So basically he's like, oh, no, not my spot. So he goes back down and he hides down there, and the camera goes and sees him again. So, okay, so these two guys, Christian and Jay White, they're going to just continue the match, which I'm skipping about 3 minutes. So my analysis of this would have been when they saw those two guys come up, they should have just done the finish of their match, okay? They should have just thought on the fly and be like, you know what, these guys fucked up, let's just go to the finish. Instead, they went ahead and did whatever they had planned for 3 more minutes, kept fighting, and then now they're going to do the part where Kip Sabian was supposed to come in. So he distracts while Hangman Page is on the other side, and Hangman Page comes up and does his buckshot to Jay White, and that's how that ended. So, okay. Total botch.
I did not see that.
I want to make one comment. So I didn't watch this live. I saw it a day later, and I don't know if that may have been edited by the time I watched it.
What?
So I didn't. Yeah, so I didn't catch the botch.
How would they have edited? Like, how do you watch it? Did you DVR it, or did you watch it on?
No, I watched it on DirecTV. You know, you can watch previous episodes of Dynamite or any show really that all right previously aired.
Know what?
I don't know, maybe by the time I watched it, since it wasn't live anymore, maybe there was an edit. I don't know. But I didn't catch that. So.
It's possible. You could have also just turned away or not looked at the screen for a minute.
Well, okay.
But okay. I mean, I don't know. You're right. I mean, it could be what happened. But here's Jay White at the end as I'm going through the slides, and he's so they went through with the storyline, and so now he's mad at Hangman Page, but they had to do whatever they had planned. But for us and our ratings, I gave this a thumbs down. It was a disaster. Vlad didn't even notice this, but still gave it a thumbs down, just because of the angle probably sucks. And
exactly.
Robert gave it a half thumbs up, I guess. So, okay, that's really all I got to say about that. I just wanted to point out.
Yeah, if I saw that they tried to do the same spot twice, I would have given it 2 thumbs for 2 thumbs down. I mean, that's insane. How could they go back to the same finish?
That was so bad. They should have just fucking done the finish. Nobody would have noticed if they cut 3 minutes of wrestling out of this match, you know? So, that was a disaster, unfortunately.
Well, so you're saying they had another 3-minute match and then they went to the finish? So it's like another.
Yes, they had another 3 minutes of the match, whatever they had planned. Like they sent everyone back to their seats. They sent Kip Sabian back to the seat. They sent Hangman Page back under the ring, and then they did it again later. So yeah.
Okay, so question for you, because I remember you mentioned before, because me and Vlad, when we watch it, it always has the, what do you call it, when the commercials come on, there you could still see it on the side, right? Like in a smaller screen.
Picture.
But you never see that when it happens, because I think you stream it differently or whatever. I don't remember the explanation. So maybe this happened during one of those picture-by-picture thingies, and that's why I didn't see it. I don't know.
Does that make it better, Robert? If it happened in the picture-in-picture, does that make it okay?
Well, I don't pay as close attention to it, obviously, when it's during commercial breaks.
All right. Robert's advice: if you're gonna botch, do it when it's in picture-in-picture. Okay.
Sure, why not?
That's true. No, but I think what's surprising a little bit is that Christian is kind of like a veteran of wrestling. Has been. You would think that he would have called some sort of audible in the ring once he saw the thing was botched, and just said, "Let's go to a different finish."
Yeah, he kind of fucked up. Like he should have just not. He should have not waved Kip Sabian off. He should have just let them do the fucking thing that they were gonna do. But maybe he doesn't get enough reps anymore. When you're in AEW, it's not like the old days when you're working all the time. He doesn't work a lot.
True.
Maybe he's just not as sharp as he was. You're right, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's possible. I mean, you would think someone of his wrestling ability and how long he's been in the business would come up with like a way to kind of get around that. I mean, well, yeah, obviously once he chased Kip Sabian, if Kip Sabian was going to be part of the finish, it made zero sense that he would just be like, hey, you go back to your seat. And then,
that was the worst possible thing you could have done.
Yeah, of all the things. Okay, so I mean, it's not the first time somebody's missed their mark or they came out earlier or they came out late. I mean, surely this is not a thing that only happens in AEW, but they're the worst at handling these situations routinely. Like WWE has had moments of like that too. I'm sure where somebody's came out early or they came out late, but it's still. I mean, okay, that's just. I mean, I can't believe that. I'm going to go back and watch the DVR of the show and see if it was part of it or not, because I'm actually curious myself if that actually made the show.
Well, this is the TBS feed, so I think this is the regular TV feed. So.
I mean, yeah, so you would think it's there, but I'm just curious if it was, what it was actually a part of or not. But anyways,
oh god,
embarrassing.
If they had a chance to cut this out of a replay, they should have. But all right, I'm basically done with our show. Just one more thing I want to mention. I don't have time to go through it in detail, but I do want to mention something from NXT because I just, I watch it now and I review it, so. This is the one thing from NXT that I'm mentioning this week, Robert. My favorite thing. It was Lola Vice against Nikkita Lyons. Good matchup. Nice booking.
Yeah.
Here's Lola Vice coming in. These girls they did good work in this match. I was very impressed. Here's Nikkita Lyons with the nunchucks. So she's back after injury for a long stretch. I really hope she could stay out there. I think they give her a chance. I think they really want to push her, but it seems like she's just kind of someone who gets hurt a lot. But anyways, if you guys want to watch this match, I'll post a link in the description below if you guys really want to see the historical footage of this. But it was basically, just to cut a long story short, Jada Parker and Lola Vice have been having this really long-standing feud that's never ending, Robert. I keep mentioning in my comments that they should just fight in Hell in a Cell. Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Hell in a Cell. What do you think, Robert? The first ever NXT Hell in a Cell match. There's Jada Parker.
Works for me.
Yeah? All right. I'm down. All right. Well, that's it.
Wait, one comment about Nikkita's return. Well, first of all, I'm glad she's back, but I didn't see her do her old finish, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the splits on top of her.
She didn't do that.
Oh, yeah, well, she got the win with like a top rope splash, I think. But anyways, Robert gave this a thumbs up. I gave it a thumbs up too. As Booker T would say, shucky ducky, quack quack. Moving along, got honorable mentions. Couple of honorable mentions on the show today. This was from Raw on the 14th. I want to mention American Made. I like their little video package they made. I thought it was really funny. They all must have got stoned, like, doing this. Like, their faces are just so ridiculous. If you look up greatness in the dictionary, by the way, it says American Made, which I like that. But yeah, I mean, all of these guys have got to be high. Because they all just looked, they were very serious up till this point, but for some reason this video package had them being like just ridiculously silly. But they are gonna represent America, so American Made, the Creed brothers and Chad Gable. Looking forward to seeing more of it. Looking forward to seeing more. But my other...
I got nothing on that. I don't even know where to start, but yeah, okay.
Hey, you actually said it was funny in your comments on your Raw review.
It was.
My other honorable mention this week is Motor City. Although they didn't bring their fucking theme song with them to WWE, but big Motor City Machine Guns fan. I remember them from TNA. Back in the days, a long time ago. So they had when me and Vlad were watching TNA pretty closely, like 2010 to 2012, they had this incredible 7-match series with beer money. I mean, Carmelo Hayes and Andrade would be put to shame by this 7-match series because that was freaking dope. So Motor City Machine Guns, legendary tag team, never been in WWE, but I see them being champions at some point because they're great. But all right, that's all I got for this episode of the Malapert Smark podcast.
I just real quick, I want to say Motor City Machine Guns, definitely happy that they're there. I'm not sure what took them so long to actually get to WWE. They're wonderful tag team, and like you said, they can pretty much wrestle with anyone. And I'm curious to see if they can somehow get some interest in the tag team division in WWE, who is usually pretty weak. It is pretty weak. So I'm just curious what they can do to kind of improve it. But yeah, good to see them there. Good to see them finally make it the big time, I guess.
Yep. All right, well, there was a lot of things that I didn't mention. Ton of angles. Like I said, I watched Ring of Honor. I watched TNA. I watched Rampage, Collision, Battle of the Belts, Smackdown, Raw, NXT, and Dynamite. So I did all of it. I can't talk about all of it here. I only have like an hour and a half with you guys. But if you guys are curious about our reviews for every angle in American television, you can go to our YouTube posts, and it'll be links to our blog there. And I give thumbs up, thumbs down, and comments for literally freaking everything. And Vlad and Robert are also there for Raw and Smackdown and Dynamite. And Robert did the NXT review with me this past Tuesday, so his review is also on there. Check that out. If you're bored, if you want more wrestling reviews, it's a fun read, get to see all the angles and review them, because there's a lot of them, man. Sometimes I just forget them. And also links to low quality, legal quality resolution videos are on there. And I like listening to the shows. I think it's cool to go on my blog and play a video, and just like if you're in the car and you just need to listen to something, it's all there. So all right, anything else that I missed? If anyone has an honorable mention for any other angle or anything else from the week that you want to mention, now's the time. Otherwise, I'll plug our X, our Malapert Smark, Malapert_Smark on X, and also Instagram and TikTok. And don't forget our blog, YouTube posts. That's the most important one, because if you want our quickest thoughts before we record our podcast, we will probably post a review of a show of these shows on there before we get to talk about it on this show. So, all right then, make sure you subscribe. Vlad, Robert, nothing else to say? This is the last chance.
No honorable mentions that I could think of, but
no honorable mentions.
I think you covered. Nothing is honorable at this point. But anyways, yeah, man, it was definitely good to.
I didn't like Cody's promo. I'll say that. Cody fucking bored me with his promo about that Crown Jewel Championship I didn't think that was necessary. Cody didn't make our show today. I'm sorry. So nothing from Cody, but
It's all right.
okay.
I
All right
agree.
then. So that'll be all for our show. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Vlad. Look for the show out to be out in the morning. And everyone out there, hit like and subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll see you next
Join
Sunday.
the crew, take your seat. Welcome to the wrestle heat. Now there's more time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smark's always high. Fights and myths always say. Heroes rise, villains sway. In the ring, night and day. Wrestling talk, come and stay. Now there's more time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smark's always high. The mat crash and cheer. All the news you wanna hear. Wealth and fame always near. With the crew, have no fear. Now there's more time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smark's always high. There's more time to fly. Stories don't catch your eye. Talking champs till we die. The smark's always high.